It has not lifted its head in 20 minutes. For an animal that spends its life looking down at the world from 6 meters above, this is wrong. The giraffe stands at the edge of the acacia grove, neck bent, head low, not drinking, not feeding, not watching for predators, just holding still, the way an animal holds still when something hurts, and moving makes it worse. On the midpoint of the neck, 2 meters above the ground, 2 meters below the head, something has been building for days. The giraffe shakes its head once, a slow, heavy shake, then stops and goes still again. A giraffe is the tallest animal on Earth. It stands 6 meters high. Its neck alone is 2 meters long, longer than most animals are tall. It can see a lion from 3 kilometers away. It can kick hard enough to kill, and it cannot scratch the middle of its own neck, not with its tongue, too far down. Not with its legs, the angle is impossible. Not with its head, it cannot bend that far. The middle of the neck is an island, unreachable, untouchable, alone with whatever finds it. And what has found it, as what always finds the unreachable places of large animals, are ticks. They arrived one at a time. A single tick on a warm patch boundary, where the dark orange skin meets the cream network line, where the skin is thinnest and the blood vessels closest to the surface. Then 2, then 5. Then the cluster that forms when ticks find a feeding site that nothing disturbs. Now there are 50, and the skin beneath them has begun to break. A wound on a giraffe's neck is not like a wound anywhere else on any other animal. It is unreachable for cleaning, unreachable for protection. A wound the animal cannot see, cannot touch, cannot treat. The flies found it before the morning was over. They are different from the ticks. The ticks feed slowly, persistently, embedded in the skin. The flies move. They settle on the wound edge, feed, lift, resettle. Every few seconds a fresh landing. Every landing another small irritation on top of the larger one. The giraffe has tried. It rubbed the neck against an acacia branch this morning, pressing the mid-neck into the rough bark. The branch was too low. It reached the lower neck, but not the wound. It tried again with a higher branch. The branch bent and gave way before it made contact. It shook its neck, a slow, heavy oscillation of 2 meters of muscle and bone. The flies scattered, resettled. The ticks did not move. They are beyond shaking. The giraffe lowered its head and has not raised it since. This is what pain looks like in an animal with no hands, no voice, and no way to reach the place that hurts. It goes still. It waits. The red-billed oxpecker did not come for the wound. It came for the ticks. It has been working this herd for 2 days, moving between the legs and backs and ear folds of the adult giraffes, extracting what it finds, moving on. This is its circuit. These animals are its landscape. It lands on the highest point of the giraffe first, the back, between the ossicones, begins there. The giraffe does not react. The bird works downward, hopping along the neck in the direction gravity does not usually pull birds. Down the 2-meter column of patterned skin, checking the patch boundaries as it goes. Each patch boundary is a potential feeding site. The skin at the boundary is thinner, warmer, more accessible than the thick centre of the dark patches. The bird moves with the specific economy of something that knows a surface. This is not exploration. This is a route. and then it finds the cluster. 50 ticks, a wound beneath them. The site that the giraffe has been holding still for. The bird lowers its head and begins. The extraction of 50 ticks from a wound site is not fast work. Each tick must be gripped at the right point, at the base of the body, close to where the mouth parts enter the skin. Pull too high and the body separates from the mouth parts, leaving them embedded. Pull at the right point and the whole tick comes free. The bird knows this. It has always known this. The first tick comes free in 4 seconds. The second in 3. The third is larger, more engorged, more deeply attached, and takes 7 seconds of careful pressure and angle adjustment before it releases. The giraffe holds still throughout. This is a different stillness from before. The pre-bird stillness was the stillness of pain with no solution. This is the stillness of pain being addressed. The neck does not oscillate. The head does not shake. The giraffe has understood, in the way that animals understand without thought, that this small weight on the neck is doing something useful. It allows this. The way the crocodile allows the bird in its jaw. The way the elephant mother allows the bird on her calf. Because in this savanna, allowing something small is sometimes the only option left to something large. But the bird does not stop at the ticks. When the cluster has been reduced, when the largest, most accessible ticks have been extracted, the bill moves to the wound itself. The broken skin at the centre of the feeding site, the reddened tissue at the wound edge, the thin film of dried blood at the oldest part of the damage. The bird feeds here too. This is the oxpecker's complexity, the thing that makes scientists argue about whether it is a cleaner or a parasite itself. It removes what harms the host, and then it feeds from the harm it has partially removed. The giraffe's skin twitches once, a single, involuntary muscle response to the bill at the wound edge. The bird pauses. The giraffe goes still again. The bird continues. The arrangement holds. Because the wound with the bird feeding at its edge is still better than the wound with 50 ticks and no bird at all. The giraffe is 6 meters tall. It evolved this height over millions of years to reach what nothing else could reach. The highest acacia leaves, the food source above every other browser on the savanna. Height was the answer to competition, but height created a new problem. The higher the neck, the more of it exists beyond the reach of any cleaning mechanism the giraffe possesses. The tongue reaches the lower neck, the legs reach the lower body. Nothing reaches the middle. The giraffe solved the food problem with evolution. It solved the cleaning problem with a bird, not through choice, not through intelligence, through the same slow accumulation of what works that builds every arrangement in nature, through 10,000 generations of giraffes that tolerated birds on their necks living longer than giraffes that did not. The bird did not agree to this arrangement. The giraffe did not choose it. It simply became true. The way most true things do. By late afternoon, the bird has moved on. The cluster is gone. The wound is not healed. Wounds do not heal in an afternoon, but the feeding has stopped. The ticks that were 50 are now 11. The flies that were constant are fewer. The giraffe raises its head. Slowly. The full 2 meters of neck extending upward until the head is back where it belongs, 6 meters above the ground. Looking out at the savanna, it can see further than anything else alive. It stands there for a long moment. Then it begins to walk. The movement is easy again. The head stays up. The neck moves with the long swinging rhythm of a giraffe that is no longer compensating for something that hurts. The oxpecker is already on another animal. It does not look back. It never does. In this savanna, the tallest creature and the smallest useful one pass each other every day without ceremony. One gives access to what cannot be reached. The other takes it. And in that exchange, older than this grass, older than these trees, older perhaps than the length of the neck itself, both of them survive.